And now the actual catechesis portion of the general audience begins, and we will hear our Holy Father's catechesis now in Italian.
Cari fratelli e sorelle, buongiorno.
Dear brothers and sisters, good morning. In the face of the pandemic and its social consequences, many risk losing hope. In this time of uncertainty and anguish, I invite everyone to welcome the gift of hope that comes from Christ. It is He who helps us navigate the tumultuous waters of sickness, death, and injustice, which do not have the last word over our final destination. The pandemic has exposed and aggravated social problems, above all that of inequality. Some people can work from home, while this is impossible for many others. Certain children, notwithstanding the difficulties involved, can continue to receive an academic education, while this has been abruptly interrupted for many, many others. Some powerful nations can issue money to deal with the crisis, while this would mean mortgaging the future for others. These symptoms of inequality reveal a social illness. It is a virus that comes from a sick economy, and we need to say this simply. The economy is sick. It has gotten sick. It is sick. It is the fruit of unequal economic growth. This is the sickness. It's the fruit of an unequal economic growth that disregards fundamental human values. In today's world, a few rich people possess more than all the rest of humanity. And I'm repeating this because it should make us think. A few rich people, a group, a small group, possess more than all the rest of humanity. This is strict statistic. This is an injustice that cries out to heaven. At the same time, this economic model is indifferent to the damage inflicted on our common home. We're not taking care of our common home. We are close to exceeding many limits of our wonderful planet, with serious and irreversible consequences, from the loss of biodiversity and climate change to rising sea levels and the destruction of the tropical forests. Social inequality and environmental degradation go together and have the same root. That of the sin of wanting to possess and dominate one's brothers and sisters, even to dominate nature and God Himself. But this is not the design for creation, the plan for creation. In the beginning, God entrusted the earth and its resources to the common stewardship of mankind to take care of them. God has called us to dominate the earth in His name, tilling it and keeping it like a garden, everyone's garden. Tilling refers to cultivating, plowing, or working, while keeping means caring, protecting, overseeing, and preserving. But be careful not to interpret this as a carte blanche to do whatever you want with the earth. No. There exists a relationship of mutual responsibility between ourselves and nature. A relationship of mutual responsibility between ourselves and nature. We receive from creation and we give back in return. Each community can take from the bounty of the earth whatever it needs for subsistence, but it also has the duty to protect the earth, both sides. In fact, the earth was here before us, and it has been given to us. It has been given by God for the whole human race, and therefore it is our duty to make sure that its fruit reaches everyone, not just a few people. This is a key element of our relationship with earthly goods. As the fathers of the Second Vatican Council recalled, and they said, man should regard the external things that he legitimately possesses not only as his own, but also as common, in the sense that they should be able to benefit not only him, but also others. In fact, the ownership of any property makes its holder a steward of providence, with the task of making it fruitful and communicating its benefits to others. We are administrators or stewards of goods, not their masters. We're administrators, yes, but the good is mine. Okay, it's yours, but to administer it, to not to possess it selfishly for yourself. To ensure that what we possess brings value to the community, political authority has the right and duty to regulate the legitimate exercise of the right to ownership for the sake of the common good. The subordination of private property to the universal destination of goods is a golden rule of social conduct and the first principle of the whole ethical and social order. Property and money are instruments that serve mission. However, we easily transform them into ends, either individual or collective. And when that happens, essential human values are affected. The Homo sapiens is deformed and becomes a species of Homo economicus. That's economical man. In a detrimental sense, individualistic, calculating, and dominating, or domineering. We forget that being created in the image and likeness of God, we are social, creative, and solidary beings with an immense capacity to love. We often forget that. In fact, from among all the species, we are the beings who are the most cooperative, and we flourish in community, as is seen well in the experience of the saints. There's a Spanish saying that inspired me with this last phrase, and it says, "We bloom in clusters like the saints." We flourish in community, as is seen well in the experience of the saints. When the obsession to possess and dominate excludes millions of persons from having primary goods, when economic and and technological inequality are such that the social fabric is torn, and when dependence on unlimited material progress threatens our common home, then we cannot stand by and watch. No, this is distressing. We can't just stand by and watch. When our gaze is fixed on Jesus, and with the certainty that His love is operative through the community of His disciples, we must act all together in the hope of generating something different and better. Christian hope, rooted in God, is our anchor. It moves the will to share, strengthening our mission as disciples of Christ, who shared everything with us. The first Christian communities understood this. They lived difficult times just like us, aware that they formed one heart and one soul. They put all of their goods in common, bearing witness to Christ's abundant grace in them. We're living a crisis. The pandemic has put all of us in crisis. But remember this, that we will not be the same after a crisis. Either we will be better or we will be worse. This is our option. After the crisis, will we continue with this economic system that is unjust in society and that devalues the environment and our common home? Let's think about it. May the Christian communities of the 21st century recuperate this reality. Care for creation and social justice, they go together. And thus, we will bear witness to the Lord's resurrection. If we take care of the goods that the Creator gives us, if we put what we possess in common in such a way that no one would be lacking, then we would truly inspire hope to regenerate a more healthy and equal world. And to finish, to conclude, let's think about the children. According to the statistics, how many children today are dying because of hunger? Because the system of the distribution of riches is not equal, because of the system that I was speaking of before. And how many children do not have the right of an education for the same reason? Because there are images of these children in need because of hunger and lack of education. May that help us understand that after this crisis we must be better. Society must be better.